Max Holloway is coming after that brutal knockout of Justin Gaethje back in UFC 300. Justin Gaethje being one of the most powerful and durable men in the lightweight division, and Max Holloway, a featherweight bulking up to the lightweight division, did that to Justin Gaethje. And at no point in this entire 25 minutes, Max was in trouble, except for that one unofficial knockdown. But outside of that, Max was crisp. And then he cut down his natural weight class, being the featherweight, and went on to take Ilia Topuria. This is one of Ilia Topuria's toughest fights. Ilia Topuria is taking a man who has never been knocked down officially or has never been knocked out. A man who has never been finished via strikes after facing the best in the featherweight and the best in the lightweight. The man with the greatest chin, one of the greatest strikers of all time, a future UFC Hall of Famer, and one of the greatest of all time featherweight fighters. And also, the former featherweight champion. And after months of waiting, the fight finally happened. Ilia Topuria was at the red corner and Max Holloway was at the blue corner. The round one starts. Ilia Topuria starts to have some success in the beginning. He lands some heavy shots, but was quickly met by Max Holloway's insane ability to dip in and out of the range and dictate the pace of the fight via his insane amount of volume striking. I obviously did a breakdown for this fight, which by the way got only like 78 views when my previous videos got hundreds and thousands of views. I don't know what happened there, but anyways, in that breakdown, I said this. He has to overwhelm Ilia with sheer volume and sheer pressure and put him on the back foot. If he gets stationary like the time he did against Justin Gaethje and then got dropped, this fight will not end well for Max Holloway. And it is the obvious game plan for Max Holloway. Never stay in the pocket with Ilia Topuria and always stay out of range. And never let Ilia Topuria settle down and throw hands with him. And if he do that for 25 minutes, he's going to win. But I also said that Ilia Topuria is going to win this fight. Well, my pick is El Matador, the Spanish-Georgian Ilia Topuria, by unanimous decision. Not a knockout or a submission, but I think Max Holloway is an insanely strong and a really seasoned veteran that is not going to be put down that easily, because he's an absolutely powerful striker and also a good grappler, and we saw that grappling in the first round itself. Ilia Topuria attempted to take down Max Holloway once and then was successful with it. He lifted Max Holloway up and then slammed him onto the ground just like that. Now, in case you have no idea about Max Holloway's takedown defense, it is impressive. It is one of the best takedown defenses in the featherweight division. Let me read you a couple of stats. Yair Rodriguez attempted 5 takedowns, 1 successful. Kelvin Keita attempted 2, 0 successful. Alexander Volkanovski attempted 9 in their second fight and was only successful with 3 of them. And Frankie Edgar attempted a whopping 15 takedowns, was only successful with 1 of them. And the same goes to Dustin Poirier, who was only successful with 1 of them after attempting 8 takedowns. And the names I told you should give you a perspective as to how quality these takedown defenses are. These are not against some random unranked up-and-coming fighters, but the best, the seasoned in the featherweight division, and also people like Dustin Poirier. Absolute monsters, absolute killers. And he had that takedown defense over those guys. And then Ilia Topuria comes out of nowhere, lifts Max Holloway up, slams him onto the ground, and take the takedown that easily. And then Max Holloway gets up and then Ilia Topuria takes him down again. 2 takedowns attempted, 2 successful. Whenever Ilia wanted to get him onto the ground, he got it. Just like that. Ilia Topuria is an absolute monster. Anyways, the fight moves on. Max Holloway outstrikes Ilia Topuria and outlands him. The jab of Max Holloway was absolute money, and especially the straights and the kicks. Though Ilia Topuria was kicking Max Holloway's calf and having good success with it, the entire round, Max Holloway was having the most success when it comes to effective striking and also the volume of striking. Anyways, the fight goes on to the second, and now it's a different story. Ilia Topuria catches Max with some big shots in the beginning, and the late couple of minutes he fades away a bit, but then he comes back up and then steals the round. Now, in an ideal world, Max Holloway won the first round, Ilia Topuria won the second round. So it's 19-19 and a draw. The third round starts. After the third round, it's a championship rounds in which Max Holloway will have the better cardio, possibly, but we did not have to worry about that, because in the third round, Ilia Topuria comes out strong, but Max Holloway comes out stronger. He throws a lot of strikes and he lands a lot of them. The jab and the straight were money. He also caught Ilia Topuria with a couple of hooks in the beginning, but the more the round went on, things started to, turn the other way around. Ilia Topuria catches Max with some heavy shots. Now, Max Holloway is the guy with the uncrackable chin, the guy who faced monsters and never got knocked down. So there's nothing to worry about it, right? I mean, in a realistic world, yeah, but Ilia Topuria is different. He has different levels of power, and after he wobbled Max Holloway, when everybody thought Max Holloway is going to keep on pressuring him and then maintaining distance, Ilia Topuria catches him again, throws a combination, a nasty combination, that left hook. That left hook knocks out Max Holloway, and then Ilia Topuria goes for the ground and pound and then finishes Max Holloway and becomes the first person to knock out Max in his entire MMA career. But this man, the Spanish Georgian Ilia, was the man to do it. And this wasn't even a fluke. The combination, the first shot landed, the second not really. I mean, it kind of bounced off Max Holloway, but the third was right on the button. The rest is history. I want you to know what Ilia Topuria is doing right now with his career is actually history being made right in front of our very own eyes. Fun fact, Jonah said something to Daniel Cormier, and Daniel also spoke about this after the pay-per-view, where he basically said what Ilia Topuria did right now was literally if Ilia or someone went ahead and then defeated Daniel Cormier and John Jones back to back in the same year. And to be honest with you, he's 100% right. Alexander Volkanovski is not just a featherweight champion. He was not just a dominant featherweight champion. Alexander Volkanovski was the greatest featherweight champion of all time. In his entire 30 years in the UFC, yes, he is greater than Jose Aldo. He's greater than Conor McGregor. He's greater than anyone who has held that title before him. And the only man to finish him on the feet, Alexander Volkanovski, was Islam Makhachev. But then that was above a weight class at the lightweight division. And even before that fight, when Alexander Volkanovski had a full camp, he gave one of the toughest fights of Islam Makhachev's career. And some people even thought that he won the fight. Now, personally, I thought it was a close fight and Islam won. But the fact that this guy from the featherweight went on to this lightweight division, bulked up and had the height disadvantage and still did that, and now that man being finished by Ilia Topuria in that fashion earlier this year, that is an impressive win. To do that to the greatest featherweight of all time when his only loss in that entire division was to him. I mean, in the UFC, before that he had a loss in the featherweight division, but in the UFC it was only to him. And the other only losses in Alex's career comes from Islam Makhachev, who is the current UFC champion and the pound for pound #1 fighter. And now the story ends there. That itself is an impressive win for Ilia Topuria, but he does not stop there. Ladies and gentlemen, couple of hours ago, Ilia Topuria does the same, but to the second best active featherweight fighter. Now, Jose Aldo is active, but he's way off his prime, where someone like Max Holloway is still knocking out people above his divisions. And Max Holloway has beaten everyone in the featherweight division except for Alexander Volkanovski in the last, I don't know, half a decade. So not only Ilia beat the best man in the division, but he also beat the second man in the division who has only lost to the best man in the division. Back-to-back wins over the best in his division and also two of the pound for pound fighters. And I was actually going to talk about what should be next for him, but then I confirmed during the press conference that Volkanovski is probably going to be next for him during the UFC Spain card next year. Yeah, if you're watching from Spain or that part of Europe, guess what? You can probably see Ilia Topuria fighting Alexander Volkanovski either in a stadium or in an arena. Most likely it's going to be arena. If they can't find an arena, then it will be a football stadium, or should I say soccer to US folks. Anyways, it makes sense. I am all for Volkanovski getting the rematch he deserves, because yes, he is 1-3 in the last 4 fights of his, but 2 of those losses are from Islam Makhachev, and in the featherweight division, his only loss is to the current champion Ilia Topuria. So I believe he should rightfully get the next title shot and get that deserving rematch. However, it doesn't stop there, right? We have other prospects coming along the line. People like Diogo Lopez and Mozart Ivloi versus Aljamain Sterling. If Aljamain Sterling wins that fight, then maybe we can see the former bantamweight champion takes his shot at the featherweight title. If Mozart wins, then he's next in line. However those fights go, Ilia Topuria has a set of killers in front of him for years to come. Years in a sense, probably year and a half, but whoever those fighters are, those are some quality opponents that Ilia Topuria is going to have a lot of fun with. And if he beats Alexander Volkanovski in the rematch, then beats Diogo Lopez, and then beats the winner of Aljamain Sterling and Mozart Ivloi, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know why I'm saying ladies and gentlemen, no women watch my channel. My analytics are like 99.9% men, I'm pretty sure. At some point it was 100% men. So the couple of ladies watch my channel, bonjour. Anyways, if that happens, if he wins all those fights, we are no longer talking about Ilia Topuria in the context of greatest featherweight of all time, because that should be obvious by now. We are probably looking at Ilia Topuria in the context of greatest of all time, because I'm a strong believer in it's not just the number of title defenses, but the quality of the title defenses. If Ilia Topuria gets these victories, we are not talking about him beating the next in line for the title, but we are talking about multiple fighters who are former champions, who are the best in the weight class of all time. Absolute killers who have only quality losses, and also a couple of them are in the pound for pound ongoing list. And assuming if all goes well, Ilia Topuria remains undefeated, finishes all of them, and we have no question but calling him one of the greatest of all time, it still doesn't end there. What about the next phase? Attempting the lightweight title just like Alexander Volkanovski did. Alexander Volkanovski, the first fight, when he had a full camp, he gave Islam Makhachev his toughest fight. He was going tit for tat with Islam on the grappling. And in the last round, Volk was the man on top and then raining down strikes on Islam Makhachev. And now imagine Ilia Topuria, a much better boxer and much more powerful than Alexander Volkanovski, and also a much better grappler, I would say. Though Alexander Volkanovski is a really solid wrestler, but Ilia Topuria has the ability to finish you on the ground via a anaconda, dast, gilly, arm triangle, or whatever he fits. Even though usually it's one of those, not necessarily a leg lock or a kimura, that's not usually his type of choke, but he still has the ability to finish an opponent with those combinations. Now imagine that man getting a full camp and attempting his shot at Islam Makhachev or Arman or whoever is the lightweight champion at that time. Imagine that, the legacy this man leaves behind. I know this has been an Ilia Topuria glazing video for the, I don't know how long this video has been. But guys, I have no problem with doing that. I love Ilia Topuria. I want a super incredible superstar who's, unlike Sean O'Malley, is actually great, and rather than his popularity being forced, his popularity is natural. He's the best boxer in the UFC. He has solid grappling, he has solid finishers, a man who's a natural star, a man who has so much star power back in Europe, an actual face of the UFC alongside Alex Pereira. So I have no problem with glazing this man and rallying behind him. Whatever Ilia Topuria has next in line in his career, I can't wait to see. Beautiful performance from the beginning to end. An absolutely incredible fight. Ladies and gentlemen, Ilia Topuria might be one fight away from being the greatest featherweight of all time. Okay, maybe two, assuming next is Volkanovski. Maybe after Volkanovski he gets another fight. But whatever it is, enjoy the stay, because you are witnessing history, my friend. And if you enjoyed this video, guess what? Could you please consider liking the video? Because then YouTube pushes this video out for more people. And if you want to watch my future videos, please subscribe and YouTube will recommend my future videos for you. And I consistently upload. That being said, check out this video. Dynamite announced Shavkat Rakhmonov, the undefeated Kazakhstani versus Belal Muhammad. At the end, I also give my very own pick. Spoiler alert, if you analyze Shavkat's previous opponents, the story starts to get a little interesting. So check out the video, you'll figure it out. Signing out, my name is Kusal. I'll see you in a couple of days.